What's going on, my friends? Hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good week. As always, we're going to talk about the outrage mob coming to cancel everything. Paw Patrol, Gone with the Wind, Lady Antebellum, magic cards are racist now, and I don't know. It's hard to figure out what they're doing, but I'm going to try to have some fun, or else I would just be annoyed all the time. So I'm just going to laugh at these hypocrites, liars, and just total con artists who think that banning fictional cards and, non-existent reindeers and, I guess dogs that are also cartoon cops or something, they think that's how you defeat racism. Meanwhile, on the streets of their cities, I'm going to do a whole video on it. 3 people die a day in Los Angeles County from homelessness. That's 3 a day. I don't even want to compare it to other stats. I'll do that later. But they just don't care about anything. They don't care about racism. They don't care about poverty. And they just want to ban fictional characters, Tucker Carlson, a group that no one really cares about. Maybe you do. I'm sorry if you do. And, a card playing game. These people are just so wildly pathetic. I'm not quite sure how this is the status quo or why people don't say anything about it, but we'll figure it out. We'll laugh at them, and hopefully at the ballot box, people, speak louder than these raging hyenas do right now, because it's just so stupid. All right, I'm going to pin this to the top. We'll chill for a second. Here you go. This is my free email list. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, what's up, Darren? Let me just try to pin this to the top. Did we do it? It's done. What's up, Michael? Drink my vitamin cocoa. Actually, I have a confession to make. Since I've decided to fit in, I'm deeming this racist because you see it's a white. You see all the white there? We need to replace that with a black label because it's racist because, the inside of the coconut is white, and that's the part that people want to drink. But if you notice, the outside of the coconut is dark, and, you could eat it if you want. It doesn't taste as good, but we're going to pretend like it does, and then we're going to paint the whole thing black because I think it's racist to eat only the white part. Of course, there's other foods that are darker, meat being one of them. It starts out light and you cook it and it's dark, and it tastes better when it's dark. It tastes better when it's cooked, but that's fine. We're going to leave that. But this is the opposite, because anything that's light skinned or white, just automatically offends me. So I apologize for drinking this. I'm going to have a retraction video tomorrow. And, next time I'll find a black label to show how much I care about black people, because that's the only way to do it. You can't actually, fix neighborhoods and make this world a better place and stop, starting wars in the Middle East and stop starting wars in Libya and funding rebels to kill the leader, to lead to slavery and organ harvesting. That stuff, for some reason, people don't care about it, I guess, because LeBron James, Colin Kaepernick, and MSNBC don't talk about it. So, literal slavery in the real world, millions of people dying, getting displaced, actual poverty. None of that apparently matters. What matters is labels, fictional reindeer, fictional dogs, a card set that I don't even know that many people that play it anymore, and a country band with a mean name word. That's what apparently really matters. And I can't imagine how popular this is, but God help us. Someone said, what's next? Are they going to start banning colors? Yeah, we're going to talk about it. It's just pretty ridiculous. All right, let's start it up. What's up, Kay? What's up, Lim? Someone said, don't fall into the media hype. You're better than that. I was obviously joking. If you guys can't tell I'm joking, it's going to be a long live stream. I'm going to be a little sarcastic to have fun because this is all just so stupid. But I would hope people know that I'm joking. I maybe not. You really think I'm going to stop drinking coconut water because the label is white? Guys, come on. Please. We're better than this, okay? You think I'm better than this? You're better than this. Come on. All right. First one. I got a list of all the outrages on my computer. Let's start with Paw Patrol. I don't watch children's shows, so I don't even know what Paw Patrol is. I guess it's like a dog that's also a cop or something. And apparently now, because, and this is, I hate to use facts, I hate to use stats, I'm going to do a whole nother video. a bad cop did something horrible. No one liked it. I found literally 0 people that were like, oh, that's right what he did. No one likes it. But because one cop did something bad in a Democrat city with a Democrat mayor, with a Democrat attorney general, with a epidemic that's killing 9 to 15 people a year, meanwhile falling icicles kill more people in America, and more homeless people will die in the next 4 days than that crisis the entire year in the entire country. So because that happened, and because something horrible happened, now apparently they can abolish police, dissolve police, turn Seattle into an autonomous zone, and ban police out of every cartoon and movie. And Gone with the Wind is racism, even though the black woman in the movie won an award for that, and it was pretty revolutionary at the time. They can ban those things, and just the hypocrisy around it. So you're going to ban a fictional police character because you hate the cops so much that you want to ban a dog police show that kids watch. Look at all the shows that they produce, guys. Look at all the disgusting reality shows they produce. Look at all the degeneracy that they push in mass media and music and everything. Look at all the horrible movies with disgusting plots, witchcraft, demons, clown killers, all this crazy sort of stuff. Murder's okay, Ted Bundy movies are okay. All the most disgusting, evil, violent, degenerate, perverted, psychotic, movie on the planet. That's okay for them to do. They're going to make... There's, some people who are making a movie with Hilary Swank in it where they're hunting down Trump supporters. All that's fine. We can do murder, we can do violence, we can do pill popping, all this disgusting, literally pathetic stuff that they push in mass media all the time. But they're going to draw the line for your kids at a cop. This is how much they hate cops, guys. They don't hate murderous clowns. They don't hate genocide. They have genocidal movies about the Holocaust. They have it about slavery. I mean, what is there not a movie about from every step of the way? That's what a movie is. They talk about history. They rewrite it. They lie about it. They tell the truth about it. They make up their own plot. That's what the movie industry is. Shut the whole thing down then. If you're mad at a fictional cop, dog, shut the whole movie industry down. Trust me, I wouldn't care. I haven't seen a movie in 3 years. I've been tired of these celebrities since 2017. Most of them are liars and hypocrites, and it's really no surprise why. If you think about what a plumber does, he actually does something. He fixes pipes. You think about what a truck driver does, he actually does something. He drives a truck. You think about what a computer programmer does, what does a celebrity do? Guys, they pretend to be somebody else. What's my job? My job is being myself, being honest, being accurate, telling you what's going on in the world, being funny. Their job is to go on screen and pretend like they're someone cooler than they are. They're like 5'3". They pretend like they're 6'5". I'm super RoboCop. I'm Iron Man. No, you're not. You got paid $100 million to lie to people and use special effects. Meanwhile, you probably couldn't even tie your shoes without a personal assistant. So it's no surprise that these people are total degenerate losers and liars, because you pay them millions of dollars to pretend to be people they aren't. As soon as something happens in the world, they just arrest that person and then pretend to be it. You think I'm joking? Edward Snowden actually did something somewhat virtuous. They arrested him, or he left the country before they could arrest him, and then they make a movie about it. Hey, I'm Edward Snowden. No, you're not. You're the loser celebrity who got $5 million to lie and tell people that you are the actual person who existed that you won't even let talk. He's such a cool guy they can make a movie about him, but they won't even let him back in the United States. This is who the movie industry is. Joe Exotic is in prison because they did Tiger King. It's a pretty funny documentary. The cool part about Tiger King was they were real people. That was what made it great. Now they're going to do a Tiger King remake so a bunch of loser celebrities can make millions of dollars profiting off of the guy in jail and the other people who actually exist and who are interesting enough. That's who they are. So this idea, this fact that people are so confused, like, why are they turning on me now? Guys, you've given them all your money to pretend to be other people on television. It's why I've never liked movies. I've never really watched them. Don't like television. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm not interested in a fake plot. These liars, they take historical things, manipulate it, and just pompously act like they're telling the truth. And then you treat them like they're, oh my God, it's Iron Man. Oh my God, it's God. It's you played the guy in the thing, and he's like, I'm not really that guy. You realize I don't do my own effects. I can't jump. I couldn't jump 2 feet. I probably couldn't even clear like a hurdle on a racetrack, but you literally think I'm like a god and a celebrity. So you treat losers like that for long enough, they're going to think they're special for pretending to be someone else. Their job is to lie to you. They look in your eyes with an angelic expression and pretend to be somebody they're not. So, is it any surprise? On that note, these people have problems with police, dog, fictional characters now, but not all the degeneracy they push. Mob movies, gang movies, violence, crime, pornography, whatever. The whole nine. You do what you gotta do, but you're gonna draw the line at a fictional cop. The hypocrisy and the delusion with these people is just so pathetic. Let's cancel the dog and let's give the kids, more music about pills and killing themselves. Oh yeah, I'm sure that's doing wonders for the inner city and suburban kids. I mean, when I was younger, we listened to gangster rap music. Now you listen to it, it's 20 times worse than it was when I was a kid. It's like, take pills, kill yourself, kill somebody for $1,000. Like, literally the lyrics are that stupid. At least when I was young, it was like, yo, don't mess with me or my crew. Don't come to my hood. And you're like, yeah, for sure. I could feel that. And now it's literally like, just take pills and pills. That's what they're feeding the kids. So they don't have a problem with that. Suicides are on the rise. Opioid deaths are on the rise. Life expectancy is going backwards in this country before COVID-19. But their big problem is Paw Patrol, guys. I mean, how in the world does anybody like these people, give these people money, support these people, vote for the candidates that want to? I don't understand. I feel like I'm living in a reality show, but we'll move on. Not only Paw Patrol's getting canceled, this is my favorite one, boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen. Lady Antebellum, a country group I've never thought about a single day in my life, so I could really care less about what they call themselves because I never cared about them. I'm more of a Garth Brooks, Dixie Chicks, George Strait kind of guy. Throw in some Reba maybe, but never really cared about Lady Antebellum, sorry. In general, now they changed their name to Lady A, guys. This is the reaction of the George Floyd death. I mean, what's going to stop racism and corrupt police more than changing the name of your band to Lady A? Thank you so much, Lady Antebellum. We appreciate it. Racism just completely disappeared. Every extremist group immediately just eradicated from Earth the second you change your name to Lady A. And the world's a better place for it. I mean, now when I walk outside, I just see black, white, Hispanic. Everyone's just playing jump rope together. And I haven't seen a rainbow in 5 years in this part of town. Thank you, Lady A. Your contribution to ending racism in the world and making America better is just so phenomenal. I don't even know how I'm going to live with myself. I'm going to probably close this stream and then try to brainstorm all weekend ways that I could be as great as Lady Antebellum for changing their name. So they changed their name to Lady A. Because they thought Antebellum, I don't know, it comes from something racist or historical. I don't even know, and I don't even care to look it up. But I thought it was funny because I was like, they're still going to be mad at these people. It's a message to never cave to the mob. Lady is also an offensive term in my opinion because lady is gender. Lady, man, it seems a little wrong, to people like myself, jokes aside, but it's like, well, lady, why not be non-binary Antebellum or non-binary A? Because now you're doing a dichotomy of, structured gender, and that's going to offend some people eventually too. So they might as well just call themselves LA. Instead of Lady A, they should go LA. But LA is already the name of a city, so it's kind of racist to, take the name of a city. So now they should just be nothing. They should just disband, delete all their discography, delete their Spotify, and just go move to Seattle because no one cares. They're never going to stop. LA, Lady A. Anyway, I made that joke yesterday on Twitter because I'm hilarious. And today, someone got mad at them. There's already a Lady A who happens to be, I think, an African-American lady singer who's very upset. And she said, for them not even to reach out to me is pure privilege. I'm not going to lay down and let this happen to me. So now she's accusing them of being too privileged because they changed their name Lady Antebellum to something that seemed a little less racist. But now they're getting accused anyway of being racist because they took the name of another Lady A who happened to be a black woman. You can't write this stuff, folks. Sometimes karma just smacks you right in the face immediately. Lady Antebellum or Lady A or LA or whatever you're going to change your name to, since that's already taken by somebody, I would say just delete your whole discography, just quit, stop your tours, COVID-19, wear a mask, go home, watch Paw Patrol before it gets taken off of television, and, just leave us alone because you're not stopping racism, I promise you. All right, if that wasn't crazy enough, guys, Magic cards are too racist. If you didn't know, you probably never played Magic cards in your life, but it's a game. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. Some people play Magic cards where there's cards totally fictional thing. The whole entire thing's not real. Dungeons, dragons, warriors, magicians. I mean, the whole thing is literally fake. Nothing in it should offend you because it's all not real, guys. I have manta ray energy. I'm going to defeat your warrior with my magician. It's all fake, guys. It doesn't matter. No one should be offended by any card. Yeah, I don't like the idea that there's a magician destroying, someone, or I don't like the idea that there's a warrior hitting me with a really strong attack. But once I realize it's just a card game, it's not even animated, it's literally like an inanimate object. Once you realize it's just a card game, it's really easy to not get offended by it. My goodness, these people are wildly pathetic. But one card was archived because it was associated with white supremacy. What card could possibly be associated with white supremacy in Magic cards? I've never played Magic cards. I played Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Sorry, I was a loser. Still am. But Invoke Prejudice, which is kind of a funny name. I'm looking at it now. Invoke Prejudice, and it has a picture of a guy with an axe. And some people are trying to say that it looked too much like a KKK member. First of all, the name Invoke Prejudice is just kind of a weird card to name anyway. Like, Invoke Prejudice. I don't know Magic cards enough to know what to compare it to, but it is a little weird. However, is it racist? Is taking this card away going to stop racism? Is this what the Ku Klux Klan and the neo-Nazis are doing now? They're collecting Magic cards. They're like, we have virtually no power in this country whatsoever. There's only like 200 or 300 of us. No one cares about us. We have no major institutional power whatsoever. But we're going to sit in our basements collecting Magic cards of invoking prejudice, and that's really going to hurt the black community or whoever. I mean, guys, this is so wildly pathetic. Like, the thought that you think white supremacists are collecting Magic cards to like make the world more racist. It's like I don't even know how this is real. I'm trying to figure out if this is even true or not. It's true. The Invoke Prejudice card is racist, and what made it worse is the multiverse ID. Well, Wizards said there's no place for racism in this game nor anywhere else. It's just so wildly pathetic. I just can't even understand what's happening. So racism has no place in their game, so they got rid of the card they themselves made 5 years ago that literally no one cares about. I can almost guarantee white supremacists are not collecting this card, and if they are, who cares? I mean, a Magic card is not going to save white supremacists, unfortunately, in the modern era. They're going to need a lot more than that. Also, they're mad at, I'm reading this now, I guess there is some sort of white creatures that destroyed black creatures, so they're taking that out because, I don't know, there's like a whole list, stone-throwing devils, praddish gypsies. They're taking out like any card that even remotely offends anybody, and they're not allowed to have the white creatures destroy the black creatures. So I guess we should probably just, pretend like the sun isn't bright, because the sun is, if you really think about it, it's dark at night and it's cold. Is it really cold at night, or are you just being racist? Because if you think hard enough, the cold might go away, because that could just be your institutional racism of like, oh, the sun is so bright, it warms me up, and then, oh, it's dark at night and the black comes out and then I get cold. It's not really happening. It's just institutional racism. I mean, I see no difference between Antarctica and Costa Rica. I don't feel anything. I mean, I go out without a jacket and shorts on, and I feel the same because I'm so not racist. So, at second thought, we should probably get rid of the sun, which actually Bill Gates is trying to do, believe it or not, with Harvard. He's trying to block the sun to stop climate change. So the same people who brought you the really credible COVID-19 lockdown and then brought you the really credible protests that supersede the health of the COVID lockdown, but as soon as Trump starts his rallies, you go back to the lockdown, the same credible scientists are trying to block out the sun, which thank God, because I mean, how much longer are we going to put up with racism from the thing that keeps our planet alive and heated? Because it's like, oh, I'm bright, look at me, I'm white, and then the moon comes out and it's like, hey, it's dark, and then it gets cold and everyone says, go inside. We should, instead of going inside, we should go out at night and we should sleep during the day, because that would be less racist. So thank you, Magic the Gatherings. I appreciate it, because racism was really creeping up in this country, and they were doing it through Magic cards. People don't understand it. It's like, how would racists operate? Would they go for the media? Would they go for the education system? Would they try to brainwash hundreds of millions of people? Would they start wars in the Middle East? Would they kill, people in Yemen? Would they kill people in Libya and Syria, make a refugee crisis, target Christians in Nigeria? Would racists do? No. What they would do is they would sit home playing magic cards, collecting some sort of rare card that no one has ever thought about a day in their life. Thank you so much, Magic. God bless you for fighting this evil scourge of racism. On that note, I know there's a bunch more like that, but Tucker Carlson is getting hit by a bunch of sponsors. Disney, Papa John's, who recently had their CEO step down because I think he said the N-word or something, and Poshmark. So Papa John's has the CEO step down because he says the N-word or something. And then real quick, they're like, but, we're going to draw the line at Tucker Carlson. Real nice, Papa John's. They're trying to threaten Tucker Carlson. They'll tell you it's because of, I don't know what they're saying anymore. To be honest, after what I just read too, I don't really care what they're saying because most of it's not legit whatsoever. But Tucker Carlson is probably the best journalist on television. Listen, I don't like Fox News. I don't like CNN. I don't like MSNBC. But where do people go to speak a little bit? They usually go to Tucker. Where does Jimmy Dore go, who's a left-wing progressive, far left-wing? He's further left-wing than most. Progressive activist, news channel. He goes to Tucker Carlson. Where does Tulsi Gabbard go? The only Democrat that was on the stage that even had a shred of integrity or common sense at all and wasn't a complete psycho was Tulsi Gabbard. Where does Tulsi Gabbard go? Does she get to go to CNN or MSNBC? No, she goes to Tucker Carlson. So Tucker Carlson is the home of honest progressives who aren't total liars and good people on the right, and he calls out right-wing billionaires. He calls out people like the Koch brothers, Paul Singer. He calls out Trump. He calls out regime change wars. They hate Tucker Carlson because he's not a neocon. He's not a phony conservative establishment, Mitt Romney, George Bush type, and he's not a total liar. So that's why they hate Tucker Carlson. Now they're trying to threaten his sponsors and take him off television because this is what communists do, folks. They're coming for everything. They can't stand that they have 95% of the television. What station is conservative? One American News Network that, no offense, barely anyone watches because it's not on the main channels, or Fox News. Besides that, every single station on the television, including ESPN, which is owned by Disney, which is pulling their ads from Tucker Carlson. We'll talk about politics on ESPN all day, and then we'll pull our ads from Tucker. Once you get rid of Fox, it's 100% total control. Facebook, YouTube, Google. Why do they hate Facebook so much, guys? I'm on Facebook right now, but even Facebook has a slight left-wing skew. But the problem is Zuckerberg won't go far enough. He won't ban Trump. He won't delete every single page on the planet. He's already censored a lot. That's why they hate Facebook, for the same reason. Facebook is not super amazing when it comes to free speech. They've already banned like 30, 40, 50 people, and they ban their own users like every other day. However, Facebook will not go as far as Google. Facebook will not go as far as Twitter, so they hate Facebook for the same reason. It's the same with Fox News. Most of it is already corrupted and totally phony, but the one part of it that isn't, Tucker Carlson, who actually calls out the right wing, who talks about free speech and does all this stuff, they're trying to destroy him. Guys, this is like a communist takeover of America. You can't say anything. You can't do anything. Everything's racist. This is racist. That's racist. We're going to change words. And the hypocrisy, I'm going to make a whole video on it. The hypocrisy sickens me because when I look at statistics, okay, what happened to George Floyd is horrible. Derek Chauvin is a loser and deserves to be charged. To be honest, the whole thing deserves to be investigated because it's all sketchy from top to bottom. No one likes that guy. However, this idea that police killing unarmed black people is the #1 threat to the black community of the world is just not true. Between 9 and 15 people died last year from police brutality on unarmed black people. 9 to 15. That's the same average that icicles kill every year. Three people die a day in Los Angeles County alone from homelessness, and none of them talk about it because all of the media companies are in LA, most of them, or New York, and that's where the homelessness is. In 3 days, in 4 days, in 5 days, in 1 week, in Los Angeles County, more people will die homeless than the entire country from police brutality against unarmed black people. That's just a fact. Look it up. It's hard to find because they hide the facts and they just give you opinion pieces everywhere. So I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying the police aren't a problem. I'm not saying corruption isn't a problem. But this idea that the people who are killing 3 people a day because they can't clean up their own city, guys, it's disgusting. And with the COVID-19 lockdowns, it's only going to get worse. They don't address it. Jimmy Kimmel doesn't talk about it because he talks from his Freemason building on the boulevard. That's what he does. He sits in a Freemason building. That's what his studio is in Hollywood. And he just talks crap about Trump and doesn't care about the city because why would he? He's a liar, you know, and that's what all of these people do. They just lie, put a microscope on 0.00001%, ignore what's killing 99.99% of people, and then use that as a justification to get the United Nations to interfere with the U.S. police, to get Paw Patrol and Gone with the Wind. And I mean, these are communist guys. They're tearing down statues. They're trying to delete history. Their history, by the way, if you look at racism in the country, I'm going to do a whole video on it. It's all them, guys. Black people were founding and working with Republicans since the 1800s. The Democrats created the Ku Klux Klan to pressure the Republican Party. It wasn't just a black thing. It was a Republican thing. They hated the Republican Party for employing and getting led by black Americans, so they needed a way to intimidate people into getting their way. That's what the Ku Klux Klan was. It wasn't just attacking all black people randomly. It was attacking the Republican Party for working with black Americans and getting led by black Americans. So they've never stopped doing this. They said the parties changed when? When did the parties change? Now what are they doing? The same thing. They're deleting history. They're pressuring people into voting for them. They're nonstop. It's just, they're disgusting. So overall, that's the story of the day. I'm going to read some questions and I'm probably going to take off at 30 minutes. I tried to have some fun today. It's hard not to with all this stuff, but I mean, it's hard to have fun with all this stuff, but the delusion is just so pathetic. It's like people post one black square and try to get a cop, you know, dog, fictional character deleted on television, and they think they solve racism. Meanwhile, they ignore institutional slavery today. They ignore it in Libya as a result of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and their horrible regime change policies. The refugee crisis that not only hurt the Middle East, but hurt Europe and America and Canada as well, was also started by the Bush, Clinton, Obama cabal that did stuff in Iraq, moved on to Syria, and tried to do a regime change there and destabilize the whole country. So millions of people of color have been killed, displaced, put into slavery from these people, and no one cares because the television and the mass media and the education system controls their brain. They'll cry about one thing that kills 15 people or 10 people a year and ignore 10 million people dying or getting enslaved because it doesn't matter to them. The Arab slave trade was bigger than the American one. History doesn't matter to these people. That's why they got to tear down the statues and just threaten everybody and pressure everybody, because they want to delete any evidence of what they did in the past, and they don't want anyone to disagree with it. And when you get down to the core of what they're trying to do, it's not even pro-black. There are pro-black people, and I like them. Honestly, I like the Hoteps. I like the black, I won't even say extremists, but what the media would call the black extremists. I prefer them. They're much more honest, and they're much more goal-focused on what's good for their people. However, these liberal liars and these sneaks who try to infiltrate and hijack the movement with these phony front organizations for democratic groups are total con artists. They don't care about black people. They don't care about anybody. They just subvert, destroy, lie, and further crush businesses in black, Hispanic, and white areas because their goal, I'm not saying real black activist goal, their goal is not pro-black. Their goal is anti-white, anti-conservative, anti-America, and anti-Western world. They act like some of the best places to be are the worst places to be. They ignore the worst places to be because they created the worst places to be. One of the worst places to be black is in Libya because of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton's foreign policy, because they killed a black leader in Libya and left a slave trade for a bunch of jihadist extremists. And there's massive beefs going on in the Arab world between black and Arab. There's massive beefs going on in China between black and China. Look into the camps that they have Muslims in China. But LeBron James and Colin Kaepernick don't care about that because they get their money from there. They have these billion-dollar, multi-million-dollar Nike deals where they get money from China, so they don't care about, basically underpaid labor or, you know, concentration camps, or how black people are treated everywhere in the world. They don't care about Christian Nigerians who are being slaughtered because of their religion. There's a huge crisis in Africa between Christians and Muslims. There's a huge crisis in India between Hindus and Muslims as well. There's a huge crisis in multiple countries in the Middle East over different sects of that. There's crises all over the world that are 1,000 times worse than anything we've ever seen here. But the same people that bring that to Africa, the same people that bring that to the Middle East, are now bringing it here. And you listen to, you know, Melinda Gates in a recent interview. She says, after healthcare workers, I want black Americans to get the vaccine or the cure first. So she wants to, you know, she's going right for the black community. She says it's to help them. You look at their track record in Africa, I mean, they'll say that they saved a lot of people, and the news networks will say that they saved a lot of people, but if you talk to people there, or you read other headlines, you're like, what are they really doing there? You know, why are they so gung-ho about getting that? I don't know. I want optionally to not take whatever they're giving. I see who they are. I see what they're about. I see the type of people that they are. They're creeps, guys. So, I mean, is that a conspiracy theory to say that? They brag about, never mind, I'm not even gonna play because I don't want to get flagged, but it's like ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna read a few comments and then I'm gonna take off in probably like 10, 15, 20 minutes. God bless you guys. God bless America. God bless the world. Someone said space is running out in the world. It's not true. It's not true. Space is not running out. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of room for innovation. There's a lot of room for prosperity. There's a lot of room for peace. But it would take the truth. And this is the truth, to be quite honest. I'm just going to be real. The best black leaders, the best white leaders, the best Hispanic leaders, the realest people from every community are the ones that get censored and silenced. And this has happened for generations. For Malcolm X, why don't you learn about Malcolm X in history? You learn about Martin Luther King because they worked with Martin Luther King and used him to do certain things that they wanted to do. Malcolm X was really trying to do what was best for everybody, and it involved some tough discussions and conversations. But, you know, they don't like that. And same with today. I listen to a lot of people. The best people get their videos deleted on YouTube. The people that are pro-black but aren't completely aimless with it, and the people that get upset with me, there's thousands upon millions of black Americans who understand what's going on, but they don't get their voice amplified. They have solutions. They have ideas. They agree with like 50 to 70% of what's going on, but they don't have the same goal in mind. These people, I'm watching what happens to them. Video deleted, you know, censored on Instagram. That's what they're doing. You could think what you want or say what you want, but it's communism, guys. This is communists and liars and the world's worst people who have killed more people in the Middle East and Africa than anyone could ever dream of. These are the people that are pushing this stuff, guys. It's communism disguised in black activism by George Bush, Mitt Romney, Clinton, Obama, Bill Gates, Black Lives Matter, Ralph Northam, who has a KKK blackface yearbook picture. They're all supporting the protest. Why do you think? Because these aren't organic things to help people. I'm sorry. And if you think deleting magic cards is the solution, I mean, give me a break, guys. You're deleting movies, fictional characters, and inanimate object cards that nobody even plays. That's the big solution, and I'm a bad guy for saying that that's stupid? Give me a break. Someone said, if we are removing history, are we taking down? There's people taking down people who liberated people. They're defacing black history as well. They're knocking down Christopher Columbus. They're doing everything. They're claiming that they're doing it on behalf of black Americans, but they're really not. They have no aim. They've already defaced multiple statues that have no oppressive history whatsoever. Someone said 3 funerals with thousands of guests, but we can't have weddings or funerals of families and friends. Guys, people think I'm being over the top when I say this is the beginning stages of communism. What do you call it when they cancel funerals for 3 months and make you watch one on television for 3 days? Guys, if someone in your family got COVID-19, they put them in the hospital, or if they went to the hospital, you're not allowed to visit them. You're not allowed to visit them. Meanwhile, the ventilator rate of murdering people or killing people mistakenly, or they just died from COVID, the ventilator death rate is extraordinarily high. Look at how many people died that were put on ventilators. I believe it was the overwhelming majority of them. So you're not even allowed to check on somebody. Look how many people hospital deaths kill every year in America. I could look it up. The higher estimates are in the hundreds of thousands. The lower estimates are in the tens of thousands. But nobody's disagreeing that hospital mistakes kill tens of thousands of people every year. And they're going to put your family member in the hospital and you're not allowed to visit them. Guys, that it's criminal what they did. You're not allowed to do funerals or graduations, but they're allowed to do theirs on television. You can't go to a march with 100 people, but Bernie Sanders says you can go in the streets by tens of thousands. Guys, this is communism disguised first as a health crisis. It was communist disguised as a health crisis. Now it's communism disguised as black activism. And I'm not against black activism. I'm just saying this is not organic. This is not authentic. This is not coming from black people. This is not coming from the core of the culture. This is coming from the top elites getting you to do their dirty work. And I'm not going to sit here for 1 second and pretend like it's cool or okay, or I'm going to give up because everybody says it's okay and they posted a black square. I could care less. These are coming from people who don't talk about anything for 10 years. I've been diving into this stuff for the last 3 years, 12 hours a day. So I can't just erase my memory and say, I think it's good to agree with George Bush and Hillary Clinton now because, Bill Gates said so and Colin Kaepernick doesn't. Who cares? Someone said they defaced the Moret Memorial in Massachusetts. Yeah, it was an all-black army that they just defaced. These people are total degenerate losers. I'm sorry. They're like, oh, we don't like guns. We don't want any guns. We don't want any borders. And then they create their own little moron zone in Seattle, and it's with guns. They have borders. They have ID checks. These are hypocrites, con artists, and communists. And communist anarchists. I don't even know if they know what they're doing. But at a certain point, this is on the ballot. I'm not, all the celebrities are saying, voting's on the ballot. Yeah, if we vote for you, we can't leave the house for 3 years and, we can't watch kids' cartoons and, play magic cards. Is anybody interested in that? The other side, although they're kind of phony and to be honest, they don't really do anything, basic law and order, basic common sense, basic, somewhat of a rejection of this, even if it's a little bit. I don't think they're doing enough. But it's common sense. I can't get to the ballot box fast enough and put R on every single one. I would never vote for the Democrats again. They're weak. They're dishonest. The only reason people don't know this is because they've brainwashed people with academics, mass media, the culture that they themselves inverted in the 90s. It was a positive culture for the youth, and then they inverted it into an evil culture to screw people over. They didn't do that to help the black community or to help the suburbs. They did it to subvert both communities, and they've done it. You've seen they brought drugs into the black community in the 70s, 80s, 90s, or whenever that was, and now they did it to the white community via not only illegal drugs, but legal drugs that they sell on the commercials. These people don't care about you. They'll make as much money off pharmacy pills as they possibly can and laugh about it all the way to the bank. I'm not giving these people the moral high ground, and that's the problem. People give them the moral high ground. They're like, I'll play their game because, they've convinced so many people they're good people. They're not good people. They're not moral people. They're not kind people. They're not black activists. They're not heroes. They're not looking for anybody's best interest. They're not good for America. They're not good for the world. They're certainly not good for Africa and the Middle East. So who are they good for? People who are just followers. What are you following? You're following the media. Who is the media? What do they sell? Pills and McDonald's. They don't care about you guys. You're following the slave master. And I don't care who doesn't like it. Okay? You say you're fighting the big bad, top of the pyramid, but you're really just getting puppeted by them. They got you marching in the streets to destroy your own neighborhood and business after they just destroyed their business for 3 or 4 months. They destroyed your business. They kept you inside. They didn't allow you to run your operation for 4 months, and as soon as that faded, they convinced you to go out and further destroy businesses for them. This is not an organic situation. This is not for the people. It doesn't coincide with anything they said over the last 4 months, and people need to realize this is what they do all the time. I've made multiple videos on climate change, and I use all facts, all stats, all information straight from NASA, straight from the government, their own data. So when I make a climate change video, it doesn't get taken down because I use the data that they give us. And you look at it and you wonder how they could lie or how they could be wrong and inaccurate. Look at the COVID shutdown. It's the same science, it's the same experts that told you going to your funeral with 3 people is too dangerous. Playing tennis with 3 people is dangerous. Going to a gym with 2 people is dangerous. But you can go in the streets by tens of thousands if you're raising money for the Democratic Party. These are the same people pushing that agenda in science as well. So I debunked it 2 years ago. I used to be a massive environmentalist. I still am. Clean the water, clean the air, clean the ocean. But I used to be brainwashed into thinking Leonardo DiCaprio and the United Nations were going to save the day. Then I realized what they really wanted: communism, control, carbon tax, and delusion. They light a fire and tell you it was the climate. Guys, look at the last fire lit in California. It was arson. Last year, a recycling yard got caught on fire in Atwater Village, a recycling yard. That's not climate change, guys. That's an arson. And when you have tens of thousands of crackheads and people without money or whatever they're doing, homeless, a lot of them have mental issues, a lot of them need help. But to be honest, at this point, it's like Night of the Living Dead. When you have that many people and you can't control your city, you got 3 people dying a day from homelessness, it's easy to start fires, and that's what's been happening. I'm not blaming them completely, but they start a fire at a recycling factory, and then they say it's climate change, and people just believe it. This is how stupid people are. I'm sorry. It's the same people. It's the same ideology. So now that you've seen it with the COVID shutdown, you can maybe understand how they could mislead with a lot of stuff. And for people that said when the models came out, I said those were incorrect off of basic math and science. And people said, well, you can't disagree with that. Guys, there's a whole book called How to Lie with Statistics. The models are made off the data. If the data's wrong, the models are wrong. The data was always wrong. It was provably wrong with 3rd grade math. Their whole calculation was wrong. So it's no surprise that the models were wrong. It's such a joke. Someone said 40 million raised for Black Lives Matter. What are they doing with that money? No one knows. Probably putting it towards progressive and Democrat causes. I'm not saying it's for sure going there, but if you look at where the money goes when you donate to Black Lives Matter, it goes through actblue.com. What is actblue.com? ActBlue is a progressive and Democrat fundraising website, just like winred.com is the Republican one. If there was a movement for black people and it was going through WinRed, I would say that's a red flag. It doesn't mean necessarily it's going right to the Republican Party, but who uses WinRed besides Republicans? Who uses ActBlue besides progressive fundraising and Bernie Sanders? So where did the money go? Probably right to the Democratic Party situation. And it's such a disgrace because the death of George Floyd was in a Democrat city, Minneapolis, with a Democrat mayor, Jacob Frey, with a Democrat Attorney General, Keith Ellison. All the protests and riots and lootings are in Democrat cities. It's all Democrats. The KKK, created by the Democrats. Jim Crow laws, Democrats. Every area that's impoverished, that people are mad at, Democrat run. And you're going to say, because LeBron James told you to vote for, Joe Biden because he likes Bill Clinton, that's the right solution? Guys, it's mind control. It's brainwash. It's the most deceptive brainwash. Joe Biden, I'm going to do a whole video on it, he wrote the crime bill, or he pushed the crime bill. That is the reason a lot of people are locked up for longer than they probably should be. And Trump reversed it and did the First Step Act to release nonviolent criminals out of jail. So even to their own ideology, it doesn't make sense. Trump passed prison reform. Joe Biden sent people into prison. And you're going to vote for him because LeBron James said so? It's such exhausting mind control. All right, I got like 15 minutes and I'm out, 10 minutes. Someone said, you're wrong on climate change. You picked a small amount of data that lined up with what you wanted. Joseph, you could look for the last 40, 50 years. They said the ozone layer was gonna kill everybody. It's completely almost fixed. They said that it was gonna heat up. It was gonna slow down. There's an ice age that's heating up. The Florida Gulf, the Gulf would be gone. Al Gore predicted in 2000 that the ice caps would be melted. This year, they had to report on. They said at one of the national parks, they had a sign that said the glaciers would be gone by 2020. They're not gone, not even close, so they had to remove those signs. You're cherry picking data, bro. You don't understand how the world works. You don't understand how the sun works. In any equation, any scientific equation, no matter how smart you are, you could be the smartest scientist on the planet who studied Antarctica for 50 years with 20 PhDs. You don't understand in an equation, the variable that you can't control is the sun. You can't control the sun. Bill Nye tries, but they can't control the sun. So if the sun decides to heat up, if the sun decides to cool, it could destroy you, send a solar flare, knock out your power, or freeze the entire world in a minute if it wanted to. So regardless of how smart pseudo-intellectuals think they are on this planet, the sun ultimately decides, which is why Aztecs and Incans used to pray to it. So overall, you can cherry pick, which is what they're doing, cherry pick little ice cores. They drill here, they drill here. Read the transcripts, read NASA. Unfortunately for you, unlike most conservatives that don't know what they're talking about, I do. I've read NASA reports from 2019, and they admit in their own reports they're only measuring the outskirts of Antarctica. They don't even measure the inside because they can't. They don't have the technology to do so via the snowfall. So around the outskirts, believe it or not, over the last couple years, there is no ice loss. It's actually a growth. It's been growing around the outskirts. Some parts it's been melting, some parts it's been growing, and the center where it's the most cold, they can't even measure, so they don't talk about it. So this idea that you think they know everything, some parts melt, some parts grow, some ice sheets freeze, some glaciers melt. There is no catastrophic problem. I'm sorry. Just like with the COVID-19, yeah, the virus is real, but do you need to shut down, and is it healthy to sit inside and not do this stuff? It's the same with planet Earth. I'm sorry. I could bring up a NASA website right now and show you right on their own site. I'll do it. NASA ice. Let's see. All right, I don't have time, but I have a bunch of videos on it. You could watch the whole thing. Someone said, "Don't you get it? We're all bad to this dude. We're not up to his standards." What are you even talking about? Someone's in the comments, "Don't you get it? We're all bad. We're all bad to this guy. This guy hates us. We're not good enough." No one said that. Someone just said, "I don't know what I'm talking about," so I said what I knew. Someone said, Donnie, this is a good comment. He says, "Sociopathic narcissists want to pretend like they rule the sun, insane and true. And it's not only they think they can outpower the sun, which is narcissistic enough, which is totally obviously not true, but people like Bill Gates and Harvard, these pseudo-intellectual liberal tyrants, are literally trying to block the sun. They're doing an experiment to block the sun. What are they putting in the air to block the sun? Look it up. Is it healthy for you? Questionable. Is it going to have a reverse effect? Possibly. You know, every cause has an effect, so if they backfire, they could screw things up. They don't care. Look at Harvard. Look what they've been doing. They just had one of their main science guys get arrested because he lied to U.S. intelligence about working with China. He was working directly with the Chinese government, setting up labs in Wuhan on $1 million salary, and he got caught. That's who Harvard is. Yeah, they're so good. They're such nice people. Blocking out the sun, getting caught working with a country we're competing with and lying to the feds. All right, got like 5-10 minutes. Someone said it's nice listening to someone who actually has brains. It is nice, isn't it? Someone said, what's your view on the mark of the beast and vaccines /chips? I mean, it says in Revelations not to not to predict. I think everybody wants to pretend like they know what's going to happen, but it says specifically there not to listen to preachers who tell you that that their word is what's going on. They said, nobody's word supersedes what's written. So as far as what the mark of the beast is, I'm not going to really speculate. Everyone has their ideas, but outside of that, chips and shots, I'm not really interested in. As far as a chip, we're already being tracked. Anything internal, these are not good people. If they were great people that were doing it, I would consider it. I like Elon Musk. I trust him a lot more than Bill Gates. So those type of people, I know what they do. I know what their father did. I mean, Bill Gates Sr. was on the Planned Parenthood. They're all into eugenics. They're all into population control. They talk about it all the time. It's not a theory. It's not my opinion. They believe there should be less people on planet Earth. So why would I want to get an injection from somebody who thinks there should be less of me on this planet? I don't think it's overcrowded. Someone said earlier that like a majority, like 90% or so, I don't know if it's true, but of California is empty space. We don't have an overpopulation problem. We have a tyrannical psycho problem of people in power. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks, Rory. I appreciate it. Someone said the only chips going into me will be made of potatoes. Exactly, Kevin. You got it. That was a great comment. Good job, Kevin. Well done. The only chips going in me are potato chips. Someone said they were trying to force mandatory vaccines. Probably. I mean, Trump won't allow it, but I'm sure other states will. Guys, these people are going full communist. I'm not trying to be a fearmonger because I'm not afraid. And people get this twisted when you say anything. Like, I'm not afraid. Do I seem afraid? I'm just saying, forever people wanted to pretend like this wouldn't happen. And then they say to me, like, aren't you afraid of saying that? Like, no, if you don't do anything, it's not like you're going to be spared. I think people didn't want to believe this stuff was happening, so they just ignored it and thought I was crazy. And then the whole world gets shut down for 3 months, and then I start seeming less crazy. And then all this stuff starts happening, and then people are like, oh, they're really doing it. And then they ban this, and then they ban that. These people want total control. They want to absolutely run your life. And they've brainwashed so many like models. Like this one beautiful model, she posted this chart of like politics where it said what people think, like far left to far right. And then her idea was like literally everybody was far right except for Bernie Sanders, who was center. And it's like, that's not even remotely true. On a scale of left to right, what it really means, which is why anarcho-communists are like a different breed, left wing is communism. It's full government control. Right wing is anarchy, which means no government whatsoever. So right wing's anarchy, and then you have libertarianism, which is smaller government, almost no government, and then you have conservatism, which is smaller government. Then you have the moderates, then you have the Democrats, which believe in bigger government. Why are taxes higher in every Democrat area? Why do they have more mandates? Why are there more regulations? That's the ideology. Left wing, communism. Right wing, anarchy. Anywhere in the middle, Democrat, Republican. They're pretty much the same at this point. They don't really do that much, but that's the whole point. We need to go further right wing. But why do you think every media always demonizes a far right group, where every media says that, oh my goodness, we're the best? Because they want communism. They want to trick you into believing you need to go further left. Guys, further left is country suicide. We already are nearly completely communized by the central bank. And then you have most media, they want to get rid of the one media that they don't control. They want to get rid of the voices they don't control. And the people lashing out at me, you guys are just useful tools of the people in control. They want there to be no one to disagree with them. They're experts, they're scientists, they're television stations. You can't question us. You can't possibly, we told you this today, but we're telling you this now. Guys, how many times do they have to do that until you realize what they're doing? The World Health Organization's been wrong 10 times. But when they're wrong, they say, well, we never technically said that, which means they don't know what they're talking about, which means it could be this or could be this, which is exactly what it is. It could be that or it could be that. But they tell you like they're the authority. It's definitely this until they're wrong. And then they say, no. It's not definitely this. We're not sure. But because we're not sure that you can't do what you want, it could be anything. But then at the same time, they tell you not to question them and that you can't possibly want to do that. So they don't know anything, yet they know everything. Guys, this is what they want everybody to be under. So in general, someone said, why don't we go back to the basics and start over? I mean, there's going to have to be something that happens in some form or sense. At a certain point, people are going to get ticked off. I mean, even right now, they're lucky that everything they're saying is wrong. And most people who lean right and vote for the president are extraordinarily nice. If they weren't, to be honest, it's the same with Islam. People think everybody in Islam is not peaceful. It's not true. If everybody in Islam wasn't peaceful, you'd know about it because there's billions of them on the planet. It's the same with America. If every right-winger was not peaceful, you'd know about it because they're letting these little bratty, tatted up, pilled out kids just destroy monuments and statues and hit each other in the head and knock them into comas and destroy, loot, and vandalize all this stuff. And no one's doing anything about it. Why? Because most people who lean right are extremely nice and don't really care that you destroy your own city. Most people are leaving, and then the people who don't leave already live somewhere else, and they're like laughing at you. Like, why would they care that you destroy Seattle? They're probably laughing hysterically at you. But at a certain point, if you keep pushing far enough, of course there's going to be, a counter to it. There always is. That's the way the world works. You push and you pull. So I don't understand what people are going for with all this stuff, but at this point, I think people are waiting for November, and they're waiting to vote their way out of it like adults, as opposed to just throwing a fit and destroying things because, you drank too much soy lattes or something, and you're mad at your father, and you're mad at your family. Like, I don't know, like they gave you a lot of stuff, and you just didn't appreciate it, and now you're paying $3,000 a month for a little box in Seattle, and you want to destroy the police force or something because you're mad at Paw Patrol. I don't know what these people are doing anymore, but to be honest, I don't really care. All right, I got like literally 5 minutes. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate it. Someone said Christopher Columbus destroyed Massachusetts. What about the Italians? They don't care about Italians, guys. They don't care about anybody. If you're lighter skinned, they're pissed. And the truth is, even if you're darker skinned, if you're Indian, if you're Muslim, if you're black, they only want you to agree with them. They're going to pretend like they love everybody of your skin color until you disagree. The second you challenge them, they're coming for you as well. I mean, Candace Owens is getting ripped to shreds for being one of the only, black Americans to say something that was real but uncomfortable to say. But in general, it's like an uncomfortable truth that could probably propel your people forward, which is what people need to hear. She's getting ripped apart by everybody. Chappelle, this person. So, they act like they love you because of your skin color. No, they're only going to like you if you agree with the communist agenda. They'll use your skin color until you realize what they're doing and then you'll turn on them. And that's what's happening in Seattle now. You have the progressive socialist communists turning on the progressive socialist communist leader. This is what progressive socialist communists do because they're mindless morons. Like, destroy, you're in the way. Read communist history. Listen to Yuri Bezmenov talk about communism in every country. That's always what happens. They kill each other. They take over. You take over. It's like pure madness and chaos because you have weak, lame people acting like strong people are bad, and they want weak, lame leadership. And then who's the warlord? The guy who's the strongest person on the ground. Who's the SoundCloud rapper with a gun? He takes over Seattle now because he's stronger than a bunch of the little, white dweebs who, I don't know, drink too much soy. Sorry. That's the way communism works. It doesn't all get spread equally. The strongest force on the ground takes over, and it's not going to be you. So people will figure out eventually. No problem, Paul. I got you. I'm going to read this. David said, what's up, David? David said, I'm Native, and I told a far left person, we as minorities want people to quit telling us how to live. Leftists do it all the time. God bless you, David. I hear you. I mean, I hate to play this clip every time, but Malcolm X really tried to warn people, and that's why he doesn't get taught in history class. They won't tell people what he said because everything he said is literally true. I mean, he was talking about uncomfortable truths about black, about white, about Jewish, and I don't think they liked any part of that. So overall, when it comes to the liberal control over the minority, Malcolm X tried to warn people years ago.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf.
They only like you. Like you said, he said, I'm Native. I'm guessing Native American, but maybe something else. I'm Native, and liberals are always giving me stuff. I said, leave me alone. That's what they do. If you don't consider, they say, we're here, we're privileged, you're here, and you have to be here. If you say, no, I feel like I'm on an equal playing field as you. You're here, I'm here. I don't want that. They hate you. They're sick. They have the same type of mentality that they had when they ran the KKK. If you don't listen to us, we're going to pressure you and do all this crazy stuff to you. They have that same slave master mentality. They can claim like they don't. They want you to feel lower. They want you to feel weaker. And then what's their response? They ban magic cards and ban Paw Patrol. These are the most deceitful people, like Malcolm said, in the Western Hemisphere. It's not even close. Everything they do is backwards. They're responsible for more deaths in the black community every 10 minutes than the situation that they're going to milk out to hurt more people for the next 2 years. And they can't even solve it because it was their city, their attorney general, their mayor. And to be honest, when it comes to unions and protections over jobs, a lot of that comes from the Democratic Party as well. They don't want to hold people accountable, whether it be white or black or anyone. It's hard to hold anyone accountable in this world. And look what they do in their cities. It's just simple psychology. They don't even want to take their own city back, guys. Seattle's being overrun by a bunch of morons, and they won't even do anything about it. They say, you can have it. This is who these people are. You could take over their house probably. You can have it now, I guess, because I don't want to seem offensive, so just take over the police department. It's pathetic. It's insane. I don't even care, though, because I don't live there. So let them, if that's what they want to do, whatever. Just don't Seattle, the United States of America, but that's what they do. They just won't stop. They lost the election. They can't handle it. They're doing everything they can to win the next one, and they're doing a good job. Someone posted a link to the Hodge twins video. Thing about the Hodge twins, they're strong people. So you don't get to be strong either physically or mentally by thinking you're weak. If you think you're below, you're going to stay there. It's basic psychology, which is what they're doing. They're not just making you march to help people. I'm sorry. They've been psychologists for 40, 50 years. Guys, you can look up Operation Paperclip. When the United States worked with the communists, if you want to know who won World War II, it's not America, we saved the world. The communists won World War II. We worked with communist Russia to defeat Nazi Germany. Communist Russia killed even more people than Germany, but they don't talk about it because the communists won the war. So after we defeated Nazism with communism, we took 1,600 Nazis into America. Psychologists, rocket engineers who created NASA, Nazi leaders. They didn't just disappear. They went directly into the United States government with Operation Paperclip, guys. These are psychological geniuses who know exactly how to manipulate your emotions in order to achieve something, not to help your community, to make you feel lower. If I wanted to destroy somebody or destroy a community, I would do exactly what the Democratic Party is doing to the white community, to the black community. These are psychological geniuses who are destroying America purposely. This is not a mistake. This is not we're trying to do the right thing. Most people just are not either smart enough or wise enough to figure it out. And that's our own fault. That's our fault. That's my fault. That's your fault. That's America's fault. They think that we're cattle. They think that we're sheep. And it's hard to say we're not. If we act like cattle and sheep, we're going to get treated like cattle and sheep. And that's exactly what's happening in every community. They just play their little games and everybody just follows suit. And now it's like a revolutionary act to just not be a moron. I mean, this is like basic common sense. It's not even like you don't even need a book to read, or you don't even need to go to school. You just need to use the brain that God gave you and the eyes that God gave you, or the ears. And if you can't hear, you can't see, any senses that you have, you know, that's all you need. But they take away those senses and just fill you with a bunch of nonsense. It's annoying. Someone said that's why they're dumbing down the schools. Yeah, I would not send my kid to a school at this point. And I was never the private school type or the, the homeschool type, but like, why would you look at pictures of girls who go to college and come out of college? Most of them look like meth heads. I mean, you're spending $100,000 to turn your kid into a communist meth addict. Like, literally, like, you see, like, de Blasio's daughter, no offense, but it's like, she looked nice when she went into college. She looked like a normal, college student. And then she comes out, she's like, she looks like a crackhead communist because she is a communist. So it's like, that's what school, why would you send your kids to school at this point? I went to school for 3 years. The best part of it was getting away and doing my own thing. The worst part of it was the actual learning. I don't know. I mean, I learned some stuff, but they make you take 50,000 classes. Take this class. I'm reading my brother's syllabus. I'm reading people's syllabus. It's all propaganda. In the journalism school, they're teaching him how to be a liar. And he gets mad at me when I say something. I'm like, why would you? I'm not trying to dissuade you from getting your degree, but they're teaching you how to be a liar. It's literally like how to become a CNN propagandist. They're like, this is a conspiracy theory. And it's like something that's so provable. I could prove it in like 1 minute with a Google search. And they're saying it's a conspiracy theory. Why? All right. God bless you guys. I appreciate you. Someone said, I'm worried for my daughter. She's in college now. I mean, try to be a good mom, try to be a good mom. I mean, if you're a doctor or a lawyer, it's good to go to school. But to be honest, even in those degrees, they're turning lawyers into people who don't believe in the rule of law. They're turning lawyers into people who believe in partisan politics over the rule of law. They're turning scientists into people who don't believe in science, who believe in politics and brainwashing. It's like, I went to school, I was fine. I know some people went to school and they're fine, but there's so much nonsense. Just make sure you're a good parent and try to find the right videos and stuff to explain it. Do I think there's another reason Bill Gates stepped down? Yeah, he stepped down to take over his new role. He's not doing Microsoft anymore because Microsoft is probably not as important to him. He's probably more into vaccines and such. So, I think people want to think that something is going to happen to him, but I'm sure he's just focusing on new things like medical stuff. Someone said it's all propaganda, even in my psych class. Oh, it's ridiculous. Even the dictionary. Guys, this is like full-blown communism. Everything they're changing the dictionary. They're changing what words mean. They're changing names. They're changing genders. These people are psychos. It's literally like, I don't care. Personally, I don't care if you're an L, a G, a B, or a T. Doesn't matter to me. Never has. Hopefully, never will. But at a certain point, you add 15 letters, you say that there's no genders and change the dictionary definition, you're a psychopath. You're a communist. You're not an activist. You're not a hero. And that's who these people are. They're never going to stop. I saw what Candace said. I hate to agree with it, but it's like she's talking about maybe we need to, we've done this in the past. Maybe we need to be like, all right, you guys go to Seattle. You go to Portland and Seattle. We'll take this area and see how it works out. Because at this point, clearly it's not going to work out. You have one side of the debate that doesn't believe in genders, wants to change the dictionary, wants to leave murder, satanic, witchcraft, demon, clown killing shows on television, but can't have a cop kids show because they hate the police so much. They don't want borders except if it's borders for their communist zone. It's like, this is not going to work out because a lot of the country, and to be honest, the people who are actually productive, who actually do stuff, probably don't agree with that. So I think it would be quite a nice little transition, but we'll see what happens in November. I mean, I would think this isn't that popular, but, reading on Instagram and stuff, clearly a lot of people are either fooled into it or they're pressured into thinking that way. And even people, and this is where I put my foot down, even people who know it's wrong still do it because they're afraid of the repercussions, whether it's for work, by friends. They play this game. If you do that, that's how they win. That's why they win, because you do it. You're playing in their world. Just come right out. And I come out and say, listen, I love black people so much. I talked about Libya for the past 3 years as you guys were invading their countries and turning it into, a destabilized area. That's how much I care. I don't care one day in 2020 because Colin Kaepernick told me to care. I care every single day of the week about righteousness for every community. Black, white, Hispanic, America, Africa, Middle East. So I don't have to play a game or post a picture with my black friend. Like, oh, I'm so not racist. Look at me hang out with my black friend. No, I'm going to hang out with my black friend, and I'll post a picture if I want to post a picture. I'm not going to be threatened or pressured into posting pictures with people just to show how not racist I am. That's racist. Like, it's so annoying. Like, it's like when I say something every single time, you know, I question anything about Israel or say anything Jewish, people say I'm anti-Semitic. I have literally 10 Jewish friends. I don't need to tell you, oh, look at me at a synagogue. I'm so not anti. It's like, no, I'm not playing your game. I'm not letting you have the moral high ground. I'm not letting you lie about words. I'm not letting you manipulate vocabulary to try to, you know, shut me down or get me to think like you. I don't think like you. I don't ever want to think like you. I don't ever want to be like you because I'm a good person most days of the year. I mean, of course, I like anybody else, I have flaws. I'm not perfect, but I'm not just a degenerate loser, liar, complete hypocrite con artist who like once every 5 years says something that like the television told me to say, and then I act like I'm Martin Luther King reborn. Like, you didn't post the square, and I posted the square anomaly. I knew you were a racist. It's like, you haven't said anything for 10 years. You do nothing. You watch NFL. You go watch movies. You know, you hang out at the EDM festival twice a year, and that's fine. But then I'm the problem because I don't agree with you because you agree with everybody else because you were told to agree that way. F off. Someone said, do my black friends agree with me? Some do, some don't. I don't know. I mean, unlike what the Democratic Party thinks, my black friends are not a monolith. I have dozens of black conservative friends. I'm quite positive they love everything I say because they're Republicans. I have black friends that aren't into politics who sent me a video of young Pharaoh who's like kind of like a Malcolm X style dude, and he said this is real. He's apolitical, but he knows what I'm saying is true. You know, I don't know how much he cares about Republicans, but he's pretty smart, and he gets that the whole thing is kind of a lie. I'm going to interview Lord Jamar, I think, next week. I reached out to Lord Jamar. He's a legendary hip-hop artist from the 90s. He loves my stuff. He told me he likes my videos, and I like what he's saying because he knows this whole thing's a lie. I mean, he's an OG black rap veteran, and he likes what so I don't really care who disagrees. Like, some people like it, some people don't. I have a black friend who's more liberal who called me up and said, Anomaly, you're real. Let me know what you think of this. Even though he's out doing protests and doing stuff Democratic-wise, he respected me enough to call me and ask me what I thought of it. And I told him, and I sent him a video, and he's cool with that. So, I mean, if you don't, if you don't agree with me, I don't care. But if you hate me for what I'm saying, then you're probably not my friend anyway. So, some of my friends agree, some of them don't. Some of them handle it, some of them don't. But it's like, it's not a competition for me. That's just because you asked. That's what my week is like behind the scenes. But in front, like the people who are posting pictures, like it reminds me, it's like, I don't know. To me, it just seems it seems cheap. Like, if I don't know. That's the way they're going, though. They're trying to demonize certain people and put certain people on a pedestal and tell you you're safe if you post a picture with somebody. What does that tell you about what their agenda is? What does that tell you if you could put this own business on your thing and you might get spared, and you could post this own business in this race and it could get smashed? That shows you where it's coming from. That shows you where the real hate's coming from and the real negativity. And I just don't really care. I'm not going to bow down to these liars. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. I'll be back soon. And, I'll have more videos. I'll have some good, nice ones in a couple minutes. So, a couple days. Appreciate everybody supporting. To Facebook supporters, I posted a Facebook supporter thing the other day. StayInTouchWithMe.com is my email list. Sign up for it, and I appreciate it. And we'll be back. Thanks for hanging out with me a little bit today.